Okay, guys, this is going to be one of the tougher ones for sure. Here we go. So on this one, we're going to use the same strategy we learned in the previous video. Notice we have a 5, 5N, and N. They both have a 5. These two have an N. So together, we're going to do 5N, 5N, 5N for our common denominator. Now let's see what happens here. The 5's cancel out here. I have n times n minus 6 equals. Next term, the 5 and the n both cancel out, so I'm left with 3n minus 18 plus, in the last one, I have n's canceling out, so I have 5 times this. So I'm going to show an extra step here just to make sure you see every single step. So we need to do some distributive property here. The n times n is n squared. N times minus 6 is minus 6n equals. We have a 3n here, minus 18. Let's distribute the 5, so 5n squared minus 55n. 5 times 30 is 150. Now what? How about we start by minusing n squared from both sides? That gets rid of the n squared. And now right here we have now 4n squared. What's next? How about we add 6n to both sides? So now we have a 0. Remember, guys, whenever you have a squared, you need a 0. Whenever you have a quadratic, you need a 0. Okay, so 3 plus 6n is 9n minus 18 plus 4n squared, minus 55n plus 150. All right, let's clean it up a little bit more. So 0 equals, let's put the 4n squared in front. So that's done. The minus 55 and the 9 makes minus 46n. So the n's are taken care of. We have a minus 18 and a 150. 150 minus 18 is 132. So now what? Well, we need to solve this either with the quadratic formula. So we will practice a quadratic formula at least one more day between now and the end of the school year before the final, for sure. But I'm going to solve it by factoring. Okay, guys, I just bumped to a new page there if you can't tell. Now, I'm going to say 4n times n is definitely 4n squared. Now, what about 132? I'm going to try 12 times 11. Okay. Now, you know what, guys? Lesson to be learned here. Before I actually factor, I'm going to start over. Because see how all the numbers are even? Let's factor out a 2 first. So let's factor out a 2. So, oh, am I getting too messy here? So I got 2 times 2n squared minus 23n plus 66 equal to 0. Now let's try to factor this instead. I know 2n squared is 2n times n. Now 66 is normally 6 times 11. I'm going to do 11 times 6, however. That's 66, right? Because notice right here, that gives me 11n. The 6 times 2 gives me 12n. And I can get a minus 23 if I make them both negative. So that's what I'm going to do there. And so now I can solve this. I know by the zero property 2n minus 11 equals 0. That means 2n equals 11. Dividing by 2, n is 11 halves or 5.5. Okay, 11 halves or 5.5. And that right there, of course, if n minus 6 equals 0, and once I add 6 to both sides, n is 6. So I warned you that this was going to be a tough one. So we have two answers. N is 11 divided by 2 or 6. Okay, the next one won't be as bad, hopefully. Here we go. So guys, notice these two have a 4, these two have a r squared, this one has a r, but that divides into r squared. So what is my common denominator this time is 4r squared, 4r squared, 4r squared. Okay, in the first expression, the 4's cancel out, the r squareds cancel out. Now I'm just left with r squared minus 11r plus 30 equals. The second term, the r squareds cancel out. I'm left with 4 times 1, which is 4, plus, here the 4's cancel out. Now r squared and r cancel out to r, so I have to be careful here. I have a r times r plus 1. So we have a r squared minus 11r plus 30 equal to 4 plus, let's distribute here, r squared plus r. Now what? Well, we immediately can cancel out the r squareds by minusing r squared from both sides. Ah, much nicer, right? How about we go ahead and now add 11r to both sides. That gets rid of the 11 minus 11r, and 11r plus r is 12r on the right. There's still a plus there. And how about we go ahead and minus 4 both sides. That gets rid of the 4. 30 minus 4 is 26, and that's equal to a positive 12r. So all we have to do is divide by 12. So r is going to equal 26 over 12. We can reduce this by dividing by 2. So 13 over 6. Whew! Again, that one wasn't nearly as bad as the first one. But guys, again, hopefully you've been pausing the video, rewinding it, maybe watching the video more than once. But this definitely is going to be probably my longest and toughest video of the bunch. See you around.